Introducing to you in the red corner from Stourbridge, Robert Norton. And his opponents in the blue corner from the city of Nottingham, Gary Williams. At the weigh-in, Robert Norton scaled 13 stone, 9¼ pounds. Gary Williams scaled 14 stones and 3 pounds. Your referee, Mr. Terry O'Connor, 8 3-minute rounds. It's cruiserweights.
For the first round.
Robert Norton, the 24-year-old from Stourbridge, is unbeaten now after 11 professional contests. He's a 110 and drawn 1, and he's giving away the best part of half a stone, although you wouldn't think it at this stage. His opponent from Nottingham in the white trunks, Gary Williams, the 30-year-old, is really a genuine heavyweight, although I suspect were his conditioning a little bit better, he could well get down to cruiserweight. Robert Norton, 6 feet 2 inches tall and just over 13 stone 9. He's a couple of inches taller than the 30-year-old Williams, who's won just 5 of his 23 professional contests. And the southpaw Norton is looking to move up the ratings and move up a little bit in class, and he needs to impress. He tends to be a little bit on the unorthodox side, Norton. He can look very, very good at sometimes, and then he seems to go off the boil. But he's got a very definite height and reach advantage, and I'm quite sure, as I think Gary Jacobs would agree, that's what he's going to have to use.
Yeah, well, his southpaws are always hard to beat. They always have the advantage of being right in front and closer to their opponents. It's obviously hard for him to get opponents, so he's had to move up and fight a heavyweight, so he has to be careful here. He has got an awkward style, a fairly elusive style, so he's in and out, but he himself is looking to move up in class as well.
Trying to bring that left hand across following the southpaw right lead. Holds the hand somewhat disconcertingly low for a lot of people, Robert Norton. That was a good little left from him to the head of Gary Williams. Norton, a professional since September of 1993, so he hasn't exactly been all that terribly busy in just about 2.5 years of boxing. This is just his 12th professional contest. Williams short and solid, and it's going to prove difficult to move. Norton now varying the shots, going to the body.
Norton has a good chance to look good here. He's got a bigger, a slower man in front of him. He's got a good jab. He's a good upright boxer, and it's a good chance to start varying his work, getting his jab off in his left hand, and he seems to be doing it quite well.
I think he spotted that extra little pound or two around the middle of Gary Williams, and he's targeted that on a couple of occasions in this opening round. Is scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds at cruiserweight. Williams did well to block the first one, but not the second one, and I don't think this is going to go into the second round. Referee Terry O'Connor's having a really good look, and Gary Williams looks in his corner, and I'm not sure he has the appetite for it, but they've said go on. Well, what a spectacular end that was to the first round by Robert Norton. And Gary Williams, a little grin on his face, but I think he was very, very glad indeed to hear that bell. What a shot that was from Robert Norton right at the end. It came right through. First one didn't quite make contact, but the second one certainly did. And 2 left uppercuts, nicely delivered. He just leaned away from his man, threw one to the head, and then as Williams bent down, he got the first and the second one in, and the third one wasn't too far away. Williams was lucky enough to survive. So there's Gary Williams, now 30 years old, been a professional since April of '92. He's boxed all over the place, South Africa, and Italy, and Germany.
Seconds out. Round 2.
Robert Norton at the end of that first round, the taller man in the navy trunks with the red stripe, the southpaw from Starbridge, very close to making it 5 wins inside the distance. He's only had one little blemish in his record, and that was a draw against Steve Osborne in his 5th professional contest. But he packs a fairly good punch, as Gary Williams, I'm sure, has felt. And he's also got a nice variation.
Yeah, he seems to have a lot of good power, and he seems to be leading with his left hand a lot, and he's having a lot of success with that because he's landing, opening him up with a jab and then feinting with a jab and then throwing his straight left hand with a left uppercut, and it's a very, very hard punch to stop, the left uppercut, and he's having a lot of success with it.
And having put his man down in the first round, obviously there's great confidence there, but there is that little habit of just dropping the guard.
I think he's dropping his guard. I think he feels confident with the man in front of him that he's a lot slower, he's a lot quicker than he is, and he doesn't have a chance of landing that punch. But everybody always has a chance of landing the punch, and he has to be very wary of that.
There's a nasty bit of swelling underneath the left eye of Gary Williams. In fact, there's a cut has opened up on the cheekbone now. It's not in a contest threatening spot. Not a bad little left hand from Williams as he came inside Robert Norton. Again, Norton occasionally moving into the body with considerable success. So Williams, having done well to survive the first round, has now got a rather nasty gash on his left cheekbone. There's that left hand going in once again from Norton, and this time Williams manages to close him down.
Williams still the bigger, heavier man. Norton's going to have to really pressure him and throw more than single punches to knock him over and finally stop his man, if he does want to stop him, because Williams is a heavyweight moving down to cruiserweight.
Gary Williams now breathing fairly heavily. Norton has proved a very elusive target. Smear of blood on the shoulder of Robert Norton, but that's come from the face of Williams. There's that uppercut. Didn't quite make contact. And against, well, a better class of opponent, you've got to say, than Gary Williams. I think Norton's habit of letting everything just hang long and loose might not be all that good. But when you deliver a left hand like that, it doesn't really matter. And Norton himself, I think, is a little bit worried about his opponent, because Gary Williams came down with such a clatter. The back of the head hit the canvas, and that was another very, very good left hand. A fair indication of the power that Robert Norton has. In the corner, Richie Woodall's father, Len, and they've turned away, and one hopes that Gary Williams is going to be all right. He's been stopped on 5 occasions in the 15 contests he's lost, but I don't think he's ever been stopped just as spectacularly as that. And there is genuine, I'm sorry to have to report, cause for concern about Gary Williams. And Robert Norton, I think, too, while he'll be delighted with that performance, will be very, very worried about his opponent. And this was a completely spot-on punch, and he really telegraphed that, and he got right over the right hand of Williams, and there was nothing Williams could do about that, even though he saw it coming. And you can see Norton really wind himself up. He leaned right back, he did a little feint, and then he almost launched himself off his feet, and that was a very hard punch. And I think what made it worse was the fact that Gary Williams landed on the canvas with the back of his head, and he's obviously in some distress, and Robert Norton, I think himself, is now rather worried. Well, a very, very wobbly Gary Williams, I'm glad to say, has been taken back to his corner. And I don't think we'll see him boxing for some time, because a stoppage like that is going to mean a very minimum of 28 days out of the ring. And there has been, 1 or 2 people have said that it should be extended to 45 days. But I think Robert Norton, while he's pleased about that win, will be a little bit concerned for his opponent, quite rightly.
Ladies and gentlemen, on a technical count-out in 2 minutes 44 seconds of the second round, the winner from Starbridge, Robert Norton! And they've got him on the stool. Gary Williams. Let's hear it for Gary Williams, please.
Well, good
And again,
professional
you're
Gary
with
Williams.
Roberts, Norton,
And
Salbridge.
delighted to say that he's able to grin about that, but for a while it looked as if there wasn't going to be much cheer from Gary Williams.